I'd rather Leeds qualify for the Europa League than England win the Euros. Why do you think that that's a bad take?
Because to qualify for a competition over England winning a competition is absolutely fucking baffling to me.
There's a lot that goes into this one, right? Because A, that's easy for you to say when you've literally seen your team win the biggest competition
And
in
you've
world
been
football.
in Europe all your life. Every season, Man United have been in Europe.
My other argument is, right, I'm at Ellen Road week in, week out. I've been going to games at that stadium since I was about 6 years old. I'm not going to watch England. If England get to a final, there is absolutely no chance that I'm going to be there unless I'm a multi-millionaire somehow. So I have a much stronger affiliation with the Leeds United fan base because I know I'm going to be there watching us go up. I'm going to be there watching Leeds play European teams, probably home and potentially away as well. So why would I not prefer to do that than just watch? Like, I'd be really happy if England won the Euros, don't get me wrong, but Leeds winning something is far and above elite.
I'd have somewhat agreed with you if you'd have said win, but it was the just qualify.
Well, no, but to me, just qualifying would be a win because we'd have gone from... I started watching us in League One. I've never seen us play in Europe. When I first got into
And you've
football...
never seen England win a trophy?
Yeah, but I would rather see Leeds do well in Europe. Leeds means
But
more
there's
to me than
but
England.
there's no guarantee that you'll actually do well in Europe. You could get into the Europa League and get tonked every game of
Worth
the group stages and get knocked out straight away.
Yeah.
So you would rather that qualify for Europa League, obviously we're talking hypotheticals here, lose every single game of that group.
How
Yeah, but-
likely is that?
Well, yeah, fucking, it's likely how shit you are.
It's like would this season with Newcastle, because what did they didn't qualify at the group stage, did they?
No, but it
Would
was
they
a
have
really...
preferred that, or would they have preferred?
I
England winning
think,
it, you know?
right, maybe this is one for a shot. Newcastle fans would likely prefer to have been in the Champions League this season and have all that experience of that playing some of the biggest teams in the world at St James's Park than England to win the Euros. And I think Newcastle fans would agree with that. And I think any fans of a club like Leeds, maybe not Villa now because they've done it, but previously Villa and clubs of that stature where maybe they used to be big and they've heard about the days at Ellen Road or at Villa Park where there was European nights there. I've never seen that, and I want to see that much more than I want to see England do well.
Yeah. It depends on which club you support. You know, if you're like the Tranmere Rovers, would you rather England won the Euros, or would you want to get promoted? They'd choose promotion, wouldn't they?
100%. I don't know why you think it's... I actually don't get you.
I think
Because your argument is, well, I've not seen Leeds play in Europe. You haven't seen England win a trophy. I was born in 99.
Yeah.
We hadn't won a trophy for 33 years before I was even born. And then I've now lived for 25 years and we've still not won a trophy.
No, and I want to see England win a trophy, though. I'm allowed to want both.
Yeah, but you've said your preference and your preference is wrong. And I'm telling you why you're wrong.
No, but why would you... Right, so would you rather England win the Euros or Man United win the Champions League and the Premier League
England
next
win the
season?
Euros.
Really?
Yes.
Because that's a similar thing. Like, because you've already seen them win the Premier League and the Champions League in your life, it's not like a new thing. So I'm thinking it's got to be combined for it to be unbelievable.
I would rather England win the Euros than Man U. So, no, let me rephrase that. I would happily not be in a Champions League for the next 5 years if England won the Euros.
I've got where I think the actual question stems from. So, would you rather England win the Euros? Yeah. But if they do, that means Man United get relegated to League One and it takes them 20 years to get back to the Premier League and then they're still not going to get European football.
If it was a World Cup, I'd say, yeah.
No, so
That's not the conversation, though. You said you would rather Leeds qualify for Europa League than England win the Euros. So to say, oh, well, you know, give me all of this different stuff.
No, but I'm trying to compare it in a different way because obviously Leeds haven't won anything in so long. So
as a Liverpool fan, I would rather Liverpool win the League Cup than England win the Euros or the World Cup. I'm happily...
I completely agree. I'd rather Leeds win the League Cup.
I'm more invested in Liverpool Football Club than England. As Liverpool fans, as a fan base, we don't really care about England that much because it's not really an English city. It's more of an Irish city. So if you're invested in the club, it's true though, isn't it? You know, you think of all the abuse we get as Liverpool fans for not, you know, singing a national anthem and all that kind of stuff. Why on earth would we want to, you know, support England? I mean, if England are if Trent was playing for England, I'd want them to win because I want Trent to do well. But I don't, when it was like Beckham and Neville and Ferdinand, I didn't want them to even if Gerrard was playing, I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah,
just
but
don't care.
That was different. There's a vibe about the team at the moment. This current crop of English players, this current English team, there's a vibe about it. There's a vibe that goes around the country. Like that Euros, the last Euros, there was a vibe up and down the country that was unmatched.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not denying that.
I felt Leeds was more, as a city, was more buzzing during that Euros run, even though we didn't win it, than when Leeds won the championship.
I'm not just saying this to be offensive, right? I actually think the reason that you view it differently is because, to me anyway, is because you don't go to the games. I think if you went to 10 Man United games a year, you'd view it differently because you'd be part of that community more and part of like being there every week and part of that atmosphere. Whereas for you, going and watching an England game in the pub is probably a similar level to going and watching a United game in the pub because it's both just with your lads that some of them support the same team. You're going to have banter about it. It's football. But because I'm at Ellen Road, it means like I know all the people that sat around me. I've had a season ticket in the same place for 4 years. It's like a little group of people I wouldn't know outside of football. And it means that Leeds doing well just always is going to take a much better level than England doing well. Like I said in the I'd rather Leeds win any silverware. I'd rather Leeds win the FA Cup or the League Cup than England win the World Cup.
It's all about, but it's all about and how much you invest in the international game or your club game. I mean, I don't really care about international football. I don't think it's the pinnacle of football. I think Champions League is. So
I think, like you said before, it all depends on what team you support. If you support a team that's had success quite regularly, then I'm not saying you take it for granted, but it's more expected, in it. Because if you're at a team, if it were like Luton or any of these other teams, and they suddenly win something, it's like amazing, isn't it? It's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, it's like the lower league. Like, the lower league teams, like say, like Millwall or Rotherham, whoever. Them watching England is kind of equates to Liverpool, Man U watching in Europe kind of thing, isn't it?
Not you, sorry, John. What you've just said completely counteracts what so many Leeds fans say. Leeds fans bang on about how big of a club Leeds United is.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, but then you're just comparing yourself to Luton.
No, I said if you support any smaller team, other than a team that in the last, as Chelsea and Arsenal, a Liverpool, a Man City, a Man United, who've always regularly won silverware for the last 30 years, if you support someone else, then I'd expect most of their fans to say they'd rather them win something than England win something, because you're just so unused to it, haven't you, aren't you?
Well, I mean, it's like with Liverpool, we're winning trophies at the moment, but I would still rather win a trophy than England win a trophy in a heartbeat.
I don't think it's a bad take, and I think most people agree with they'd rather the club win something than England win something, or even the club just be successful. I really don't see it being a bad take at all. And I think you get so emotional about it that you feel like, I'm not saying I don't want England to win. I'm still really excited and want England to win, but it's just there's just different levels to it.
I think there might be a north-south divide as well. I think southern clubs will probably lean towards more England.
Yeah, because they can actually go to games as well.
Well, because it's Wembley and it's all in the south and the southeast, isn't it?
Yeah, if England played half the games up north, then I might. Yeah, if I was a England regular, I think it'd be a little bit different, because I know, for example, I know some people at work or whatever that are football fans, and they go to the England games and actually go travel to other countries and stuff. Then I would probably be just as invested. And when it is the Euros, I am very invested, or the World Cup, etc. But until that point, give me Leeds. I'd take Leeds getting promoted over England winning the Euros.
Fucking crazy.
Well, I would rather Liverpool win this game than England winning the Euros. That's just
God.
But surely you're a Man United fan. Surely you're invested day to day, 24/7.
I love United. 100% I am. But like I said, there's just something about England. Like, we haven't won anything since 1966. That is fucking mental.
It's because they weren't good enough.
Yeah, but now we're in a position where we could actually go and do.
Yeah, we could.
I think England are favourites for the Euros.
We could go and do an international double. Never mind the Euros. We could go and win the Euros, and 2 years' time for the next World Cup, we could go into that as favourites. And with how young and how good the team is, we could even do what Spain did and win an international treble.
Yeah.
We're in that position now.
I just don't know with Southgate. I just don't think.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think
probably not going to get past this.
I don't think we'll do that with Southgate, but I know what you mean in terms of the squad is good enough and especially young enough for that to be a possibility.
If you'd have asked me during that grey period of England where we had like, I know we had some decent players, but when it was like Chamberlain, Walcott, we had Jagielka and
Mikhail Antonio got into the squad.
And all of those lads, I'd kind of be like, do you know what? I'm not really that bothered about this team. Yeah, I'd rather see Man U do well. But like, there's something about the team at the moment. And I feel a genuine, for the first time in my life as a football fan, I feel a genuine attachment to the English football team. Like when we had that golden generation before, like Lampard, Gerrard, Rooney, Beckham, everyone, like you could tell like they were playing together because they were playing for England, but actually nobody really liked each other. Nobody really wanted to be there other than the fact that everyone wanted to get more caps for England. But actually now, you can tell all the lads get along. They all want to be there.
It's like a club, isn't it now?
The addition of social media helps, but stuff like when they're away in Lions Den, watching them just like makes you feel like you're part of the camp and that sort of stuff.
But my question is then, why are you not more invested in Man United when there's there's way more games a season, you're in more competitions that you should be invested in and wanting you to win, in comparison to England where there's probably every couple of years you have 20 meaningful games, if that. Like probably 10, 15 meaningful games. So how does that equate to more joy in your brain than watching Man United do well over a period of games that's more?
Because then
maybe it's also because Man United's setup has been shit in the last few years. And as much as you might not want to admit it, you want the team to do well, but you probably don't want the owners to get richer and the people around the club you actually dislike. So it's maybe not the same connection.
Yeah, like falling out of love.
At the same time, I think, you know, we've been poor this season, but you go, oh, well, there's next season. If you don't win the Euros, it's another 2 years before you've got a chance at winning something. Do you know what I mean? We've been lucky because of COVID. It pushed everything back where we had a Euros, then the next year we had the World Cup, and then the next year we had the Euros again. You know, after this Euros, we're back to kind of, fucking hell, it's 2 years before we can go again. Fucking hell, it's you know, 2
But that's why I'm not as invested. But this is exactly my point.
But that's why I am, because it's like this team that we've got now, we've got for probably 2 more tournaments. You know, the core with Kane. Kane's probably not going to get past the next World Cup. Stones probably won't get through the Euros, as in like next World Cup he probably won't be around. Walker, again, maybe he'll be there, but he won't be starting. You know, who's going to be the keeper for the next World Cup? So this team that we've got now is kind of, the lifespan's not there, really. You've got your young players like Saka, Foden,
Bellingham.
You know, Bellingham's coming through. Then
and I think there is like Colwell and stuff. We have good replacements that are kind of ready.
We have great young players that are looking to start stepping up and that sort of stuff. But the team that we've got at the moment and being favourites, and I don't know. I just think because we don't play every year, you know, you have a shit season. So United, by all standards this year, have been pants. Yeah, we're still in the FA Cup, but we've got Liverpool next round, so I don't imagine us getting past that. You know, we're going to struggle to get top 4 this year. It's a shit season for United, but I'm like, do you know what? Summer, make a few signings. Things are looking good in the club. We'll go again next year.
Yeah, there's always that hope, isn't there? The next
you know, there's always, realistically, when the season ends, it's what, 3-4 months, and then the next season starts? The Euros, we got knocked out of the World Cup against France, and I'm like, fucking hell, we actually don't play
in another shot from the edge of the box.
Another World Cup for 4 years.
Yeah, but you've actually just...
One thing you just said then is your different attitude to like a Leeds fan. You just said, we'll buy another couple of players, things are looking good, we'll go again. Whereas a Leeds attitude is, if we don't get promoted, 5 of our best players have gone, we're fucked. That's it. We don't go again next season because we lose all those best players.
Yeah, but you do though. Like, no, I get what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. But after that 3 months, say you don't get promoted this year, say you fall into the playoffs, you lose in the final or whatever, and you don't get promoted, and it's a stinker, and Somerville leaves, you know, Nonto leaves, and a few other lads leave. Archie Gray leaves, and you think, fucking hell, this is shit as shit. As soon as that first game of the season starts, Leeds fans are buzzing again.
Oh, yeah, they are.
You're all buzzing again, you're ready to
but
go.
we ain't going again. We're not going to push again, that's it.
No, but this is, you actually have just completely lent into my point of, this is why I'm more passionate about Leeds doing well, because it's more regular and it's more personal.
More invested.
Because it's happening every year, and I'm looking at the transfers in the club, I'm thinking about the manager, I'm thinking about the ownership, I'm thinking about this and that. Like England, to be honest, like the squad half the time isn't what it should be. The manager's shit. We've not done all in forever, and I'll enjoy it when it's on. I do. I really do like England. I do enjoy international football in general. I watched so many games in the last World Cup, but it's just a case of maybe I've fallen out of love a little bit with the setup of international football.
Yeah, I have.
With the Qatar and Russia World Cups, and then there's another one in Saudi in however long, and I just think it's money laundering. It's shit and it's sports washing, and I want England to do well, but I don't have an affiliation with them. There's no Leeds players playing for England. There's no chance of a Leeds player playing for England.
Come on, Wales.
Even United, with how crap they are, will still have Maguire will get in the squad. Rashford will potentially get in the squad. I mean, that's probably about it right about now. But there's still other players in and around United. Who did I forget?
Kobe Manu.
Yeah, he might, but he probably should, to be honest. But this is what I mean. So there's more there for you. And when you say, we'll go again next season, cool. When I say I'd rather Leeds, that's like maybe not the Europa League one, although I do still fully back that statement. But when I say I'd rather Leeds win the League Cup, Leeds haven't won any silverware in like 2 decades, mate. That's why if we...
Championship?
3 decades.
Yeah, but the Championship's the Championship.
But still silver. You said any silverware.
You know what I meant. You
said any silverware. That is silverware.
You don't have to be. The Championship is a good league. You know what I mean, though, where we're playing all the best teams in England. The League Cup, the FA Cup, the Premier League. They're the elite level competitions, really. But this is why I say Leeds winning that, because we've not won anything in so long, that'd mean so much more to me than England winning something. So much more.
I don't know.
Well, like I say, Liverpool, we're winning stuff, but I would still, take a League Cup over a World Cup or a Euros in a heartbeat.
I can just see Josh's seething.
Heartbeat.
The thing is, though, as well,
but like to your point about my new player, genuinely, I would go into next Euros. If it meant England winning the Euros, I'd say right, don't pick a Man U player.
Well, no, of course you would, but then that's not the setup.
I'm not bothered. It could be 11. The whole 11 could be Man United, or there could be no Man United players in the team. When I'm watching like the Euros or the World Cup, for me they're just England players. Like Foden isn't a City player, Saka isn't an Arsenal player, Kane isn't a Bayern or Tottenham player when he was there. It's just they're all just England players.
No, but I think it's easy for you to say that, especially when you were growing up watching England as a kid. You had like half the squad was United, so it's easy for you to be like, oh well, I'm not bothered if they get in the team now. But that's what you've always had, and that's probably why you've now got a stronger connection to England, because you've seen Rooney bagging, you've seen Ferdinand playing every game. You can name half Gary Neville, any English player at Man United was in that squad. So now it's easy for you to go, oh, I'm not that bothered, but you've seen it your whole life.
I like the scarcity of it. That's why I want England to do well, because, and when I said we go again next year, I didn't necessarily mean like next year we could go out and spend 350 million in the summer, buy half a new squad, and we're still not going to win the league next year.
Yeah,
If, say, for example, we get in the Champions League, we manage to get lucky, Villa and Spurs fall off, and we manage to have a good run in, and we get in the Champions League, we get top 4. We're not going to win the Champions League next year. Maybe we'd sneak a League Cup or an FA Cup if we can get decent runs. But do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we are gonna, but I don't think we will. Like there was a point in the year where I thought, do you know what? Maybe we'll get top 4.
But for you to say maybe we'll get into Europe, maybe we'll sneak a League Cup. They're like things we dream about, and you're like, oh, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But that's like a dream for a Leeds United fan to even get that far.
Yeah, do you know what? I think this argument goes across football as well, right? And we've said it before about the Glazers and stuff. I think it's really easy for fans of clubs who have been really good for years, or at least in and around Europe and winning the odd competition every now and then, to be a bit pissed off with what they've got. But it's actually what I don't think people realise how tough it is sometimes. Leeds were in the Championship for 10 fucking years. We didn't win anything. We didn't ever really have a proper chance of going up. We were just fucking mid-table Championship. And I think until you've and League One before that, but at least we won League One. Came second and came up, so that was a bit of glory. But I think until you've experienced something like that, it's impossible to differentiate it, to debate it in many ways, because it's like you've experienced the highs. And to be honest, I am quite surprised that Simon has said he'd rather Liverpool win a League Cup, but I get it because...
Well, I just think as a Liverpool fan and, you know, a fan base from that city, it's not an English city, and we've been done over by the English government for decades and decades. Historically, we just hate it. Well, we don't hate England. We don't hate England. We've just always been shat on by England, quite frankly. Personally, I think it's you know the England fan base, the England brigade, you know the Millwall, the West Hams, those. I don't want to see them happy. I don't want to see them happy.
I mean, that's pretty valid.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, jog on.